This particular training is about ensuring that we follow our key value, and our key value is building success from home, right? So for me, this is really, really important to ensure that we get a really good Christmas at home. This is the system, the blueprint that I kind of almost want you to follow. I did this the last couple of days because I feel like if we don't have a plan in place, we are going to start tinkering with work. And when we tinker with work, what ends up happening is that we start slowly disconnecting with the whole Christmas, with the whole family. We start getting emotional distractions with work and business. And what we really want to be doing is focusing on being present, being in the room, making sure that we're taking the whole experience in. So there are 5 points to this. I'm going to go through each one and I'm going to explain the reason that I've chosen those things and why we've put this system together and what each part will reveal. All right, so let's get into it. So number 1, and some of these, they're not Gucci, guys. This is not like a high quality science project from Tesla, right? These are very, very simple strategies, but they've just got to be implemented. So there's no point sitting here watching this and doing nothing with it. We've got to make sure that we are completely immersed into these things and we go away and we plan them and we execute them. So the first one is I want you to kind of understand your key priorities. And this is really important. So the way that we do this is that we create 2 different lines, personal and professional. What are the things that need to be achieved for you to be able to feel comfortable about switching off in and over Christmas? What are those things? So all I want you to do is, number 1, we're gonna just brain dump everything, every single thing that you can possibly think of. What do I want to achieve before the Christmas period comes along? And I can just go, oh man, I feel like I've just got all of that out of the way. That's great. Now I can take, it ends up being 2 weeks off, right? So there's key considerations that I want you to think about when it comes to prioritizing those things, all right? So number 1, what will give you most clarity? So when you look at your brain dump and you've spent like 10, 15, 20 minutes, when you look at those things, when you look at each one, which one will give you most clarity? Now, clarity for me is just another word for peace. I just need peace of mind. The problem that most people have over Christmas is that they don't have that peace of mind. So they go, I'm just going to dive into my emails. I'm just going to dive into my phone. So we have to be almost have enough clarity, have enough peace so that you can shut the door and you can go, bang, I don't know, I'm confident that I don't have to go back to any of those things, okay? And each one of us will have a different thing about our own it's our own personal beliefs about what we need clarity on. So that's the first one. What will give you the biggest peace? What is the one thing knowing that, man, I'm really clear on that? So to give you a couple of examples, mine would be to schedule emails. Mine would be to schedule content. Mine would be to understand the build up to Christmas and making sure that everybody has their systems in play and that they're all prepared for the back end of December going into January, right? So those are some of the things that I want to be really crystal clear on in terms of a professional front. In terms of a personal front, I'd be writing things down like, have I got all my presents in on time? Have I managed to get in before the delivery dates start pushing the edge of Christmas Day, right? Lastminute.com. Have I got all of my training goals? What are the gym timing opening times? When am I going to train over Christmas? Setting yourself those small targets and systems, I think, are really, really important. And then I kind of just clarify all of that. What is mission essential? So for you, what is mission essential to ensure that you're going to achieve everything? And it's just a big system and a big process of going, here's my brain dump. Those are the things I don't need. These are the things that I do need. This is the reason why they are. And these are them when I'm going to fit them in. And you go through over the next couple of days and you slot when you're going to achieve these things so that you've got clarity and you've got peace. Okay. When we're going into Christmas, they're the 2 things that we really need. Going on to number 2. Okay, deadlines. There are 3 key deadlines that I think you need to put in a diary. Number 1 is, when officially are you going to switch off? So what is that date when you are going to say, I'm done full-time work, okay, only for the Christmas period. For over the 2 weeks, I'm going to come out of that. It might already be dictated to you, or if you work for yourself, that's something you can implement for yourself. Okay, so that's really important. Number 2 is what I would call the dip-ins. Now, over the Christmas period, over those 2 weeks, I'm not going to do anything whatsoever. Okay, there's going to be no focus sessions and we're not tracking accountability, but I am going to be doing dip-ins where I'm just kind of maybe putting some content up, where I'm just checking in on the systems, checking in on operations. I'm basically going to make sure that there are rules in place, which I'll come on to in a minute. And then number 3 is, when do you go back full time? What day are you going to go back into the gist of things and get your routine back and going? And you know it's going to be a bit of a hangover, but we've got to make sure that we know the date. So when do we break? When are the dip-ins? When do we go back? Okay. Considerations. Number one, there have to be rules around this. So for me, on the dip-ins, they're no more than maybe 2 kill zones. Okay, so it could be on the 27th, 28th, 29th, I might do 3 dip-ins. So that's a total of 6 kill zones. What am I going to do within that time? And that's where it's really, really clear in terms of the priority pieces, what I'm going to be doing. Okay, boundaries. Absolute phone boundaries is key. Laptop boundaries is key. Work boundaries is key. You have to put here, you have to respect yourself enough to go, these are the boundaries are set, so these are the boundaries that I'm going to follow and adhere to. Because if you break those boundaries, you're going to feel guilty, then you're going to feel regretful, then you're going to come around at the end of Christmas and say, yeah, it was all right, I got caught up with this, I got caught up with that. Remember, we're trying to aim for a top 1% mentality here. That means that if we say we're going to do something, we're going to do it. We're going to follow through, and we're going to do it at a very, very high level. And that's what this system is about. So that's number 2, deadlines, and then all of those considerations underneath deadlines. Okay. So number 3 is at some point, and I'm planning to do this by the end of not next week, but the week after, because I think that's when I break the 18th, is plan your January and plan your quarter 1. So it doesn't matter if the quarter 1 or the January is not absolutely detailed, because those kill zones that I talked about inside of the dip-ins here, you can just keep adding to that. But if you go all the way through December and you go all the way through the Christmas period, you are going to be constantly thinking to yourself, what am I trying to achieve in January? What do I need to do when I come back to that full-time boundary? So I'm coming back to work, then what am I meant to be doing that first week? If you come in and you've got your hand on your dick and you don't even know what you're doing, then you have failed in that whole period there. You got to come back and be absolutely clinical in that first week. Okay, so I put here, plan week 1 in absolute detail. Certainly the first 2 days at least, first 2 to 3 days, absolute detail. I put up a picture in the group the other day of all the kill zones that we put in there. Put all your kill zones in, be crystal clear on what's happening so that you know. It might be that the last 2 days of the week are safety nets, so you might have to do catch up, play with curveballs, etc. But give yourself time for curveballs, ambushes, things that maybe have gone wrong, so that you're not trying to fit it all in. Give yourself some of that flex time. And then week 2, I want you to plan quite lightly. So what are the things that you're thinking about going into week 2? Because if you don't do that as well, again, it's all becomes reactive. This is a proactive system to help you operate at a very high level. So that is absolutely key to understand. And then making sure that quarter 1 is done, all right? So you've got your mission builder, you've put the things in that you want to achieve, you understand the reasons why you want to achieve it. You can, on those dip-ins, really just cement those pieces, and then on the 2nd of January, when the post goes up over that weekend, you can put your quarter plans in, you can put in your monthly audit, and then you're ready to go for your weekly plan. So there's lots of clarity and peace of mind there about what you're doing with your time, your energy and focus, right? Because the alternative to that is kind of showing up at the very start of the year and going, I've done nothing, I've done none of this, I'm overwhelmed, I'm chaotic. It's about implementing the system, even starting today. So there's 4 key considerations. Number 1 is, what are your key priorities when you come back after work? What are the key priorities during your dip-ins? Your energy management is absolutely key when you come back. Okay, right, you're going to be quite low on energy. Maybe you haven't trained as much, although I like to think that you would train as much, but you're going to feel very overwhelmed. So managing your energy is huge, right? The realignment. When you come in on that first day, what I would do on my first kill zone on the Monday morning, I think it's the 5th, from 9 to 10:30, is use that time to realign yourself, to getting back into work, to checking the plan that you did, checking in on yourself, checking everything you've got planned, and slowly bring yourself back in, right? That gives you that time to breathe. It doesn't put pressure on you, and it allows you to operate at a very high level. So set a date for when you are going to have completed all of your plans. Okay, so for me, I want to make sure that every single part of my plan is done by the 29th of December. That is ready then to post up. I'm then ready to go. Cool, so that's number 3. Number 4, so I want you to make sure that you're doing your audit. The audit is really, really important, because what will end up happening, and I know it, as soon as we go into the Christmas period, on the week leading up to Christmas, the last thing you give a shit about is your audit and about how you're performing and rocking and rolling. I would almost be thinking about doing your audit not next week but the week after, and almost going by, I think 18th or 19th is the Friday. I think 19th is the Friday, and almost by going by the 19th, get your audit in play, because the rest of the month is going to be a write-off. So it's not like you're going to order that period through Christmas when you're eating cheese, boozing, running, hanging out and chilling. Your month really finishes probably around Friday the 19th, if we're being perfectly honest. So you can get your audit complete and it's done. You don't have to think about it. You've kind of learned the lessons from the quarter, you've learned the lessons from the month, and that's ready to go, okay? That's super important. Number 5, which I think is really important, and it might seem super obvious, and what I thought was quite obvious until I wrote it down and really understood what I wanted, was how do you want to spend Christmas? Okay, number 1, what are the outcomes that you want to have? Of course, you want to have a really good time, but when we're talking about that, do we want to go out on walks? Do we want to experience something in particular? Do we want to see if we can actually learn to live without our phones for a couple of days? Okay, so those outcomes are really important. They're super obvious, but make them a little bit more specific to you. What do you want to feel? What do you want to look like? Okay. Rules over Christmas. Are you just going all in on the booze and cheese? Are you going to make sure that you're training? So I've kind of set a couple of rules around my training to make sure that's done. I've set some rules around diet. I've set rules around my phone. I've asked the wife to hold me accountable. All of these little rules just allow your outcomes to actually happen, right? Because if we say we want a happy Christmas, we want to be present, we want to spend time with the kids, we want to share that experience, and you're sitting looking through social media, or you're getting distracted with some work or something else, then your outcomes are not going to happen. And you're going to be like, oh, next year I'm going to definitely get on it. Same cycle of bullshit, right? And then the last bit here is things you don't want, okay? What don't you want to happen? So I want you to almost write out your worst case scenario. Is that, I got dragged into work, or I got dragged into social media, or I had this happen, or I had that, I drank too much, I ate too much. What are the things you don't want to happen? You're kind of setting yourself up for a blueprint for success on Christmas. And I know that sounds a bit like, geez, I know how to have a great Christmas. But when you write it down, you're kind of setting those expectations for yourself. Does that make sense? So just to summarize, number 1, create a priorities audit list of your personal and your professional. What are the key things? Making sure you know it's going to give you the most clarity, the most peace, and which is mission essential. Number 2 is deadlines of when you're going to switch off officially, when your dip-ins are going to be, and then when you're going back to work full time. Number 3 is planning for January and getting your quarter 1 plans ready and prepared. I would say by the 19th of December, have 75% of it done, and in your dip-ins, complete it and set the date of when you're going to be finished, done. I don't need to think about that again. Okay. Number 4 is do your audit. I would probably say by the 19th of December. It's really, really important. Just get it done and then have the weekend, and then you're going into Christmas week and you don't have to think about it. And then the last one is write down how you see your Christmas. Okay, make sense? Outcomes, rules, and things that you actually don't want in there. And if you can build that system up and you can kind of put all of those things together, which by the way won't take you a lot, it just means that you have to plan a little bit. It just means that you have to think forward. It means you have to be proactive. You would have created a system that allows you to operate for the last 2 weeks of the month, enjoying Christmas, rather than constantly worrying about what's going to happen, what's not going to happen, and it puts you fully in control. If you like the thought of operating with a system like this more consistently on a day-to-day business, to take what is an already successful life in business and personal life to an even higher standard, then just click the link in the description down below where it says Mission 2-Week Insight Program and take a look through what we do. And if you like it, I'll see you on the other side, ready to do some work on yourself.